All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that the very foundations of our reality, everything from our oldest scriptures to our most trusted science, might have been twisted on purpose? Today, we're diving into a source that claims exactly that. It paints a completely different picture of creation, of consciousness, and of the universe itself.
The material we're breaking down today kicks things off with this pretty bold idea. It's suggesting that the most fundamental truths we live by aren't just small errors. They're huge, ancient deceptions that are hiding a much deeper reality from all of us.
So, where do you even start to pull apart a lie that big? Well, according to this source, you go right to the beginning, to the very first sentence of one of the most powerful books ever written, the Bible.
Now here's the first major claim, a deliberate mistranslation of the original Hebrew. The source argues that the original text started with Aleph, the first letter, but was swapped out for Beth, the second. So why does one letter matter? Well, according to this, that tiny change took a father of beginnings who created many divine beings, the Elohim, and collapsed it all into a single, all-powerful God. The entire story was changed from the very first word.
Okay, so from taking on ancient scripture, the source turns its attention to what it calls the three holy cows of modern science. And the argument is that these scientific pillars are just as shaky as that first line of the Bible.
First on the chopping block, evolution. The source says that the theory of evolution is still just that, a theory, and it claims it was put into our schools for one specific reason: to cut the cord between humanity and any idea of a creator or some kind of intelligent origin.
Next up, the speed of light. You know, the ultimate speed limit of the universe. The source claims this cosmic speed limit isn't just breakable, it was already broken. It points to an experiment back in 2005 at Middle Tennessee State University, where a group of students supposedly shot a sound pulse faster than the speed of light. This suggests sound might be a more fundamental force than we realize.
And the third, holy cow, the law of conservation of energy. Here, the source says science is basically contradicting itself. I mean, think about it. How can energy not be created or destroyed if the whole universe supposedly exploded out of absolutely nothing in a Big Bang? And if we're told new stars are being born all the time, it just doesn't add up.
So if the foundations of both religion and science are built on lies, as the source claims, then what's the truth? This is where we get to the heart of the whole thing, the idea that the one true creative force behind everything is sound.
Our source says we've got the whole order of operations completely backwards. We don't live in an electromagnetic universe, we live in a magneto-electric one. The real difference is what comes first. It claims the original primal force is sound. Sound creates magnetism, and then magnetism creates electricity. Sound is the cause of it all, not just some byproduct.
And you know, the source argues this isn't some brand new idea. It's ancient. It's everywhere. You look at Christian texts, and it all starts with the Word. In Hinduism, it's the primordial hum of Om. The ancient Egyptians believed the universe was sung into existence. The belief is that our ancestors all knew that creation started with a vibration, a frequency, a sound. And this ancient idea actually has a really cool modern counterpart called cymatics. This is where you can literally see sound. By vibrating a plate with sand or water on it, you can physically watch different sound frequencies organize that random matter into beautiful, complex geometric patterns. Sound is literally making form appear out of nothing.
Okay, so if sound can make pretty shapes in sand, what else can it do? This is where the source makes some of its most incredible claims about the hidden power of sound and frequency. The source claims that pioneers like Royal Raymond Rife, and more recently a man named Anthony Holland, found that every disease has its own unique frequency. And if you could match that frequency, like an opera singer shattering a glass, you could destroy harmful cells, like cancer, without ever touching the healthy cells around them.
It also says sound can literally defeat gravity. And yeah, we have modern experiments that can levitate tiny beads with sound, but the source points to people like John Keeley way back in the 1880s who supposedly levitated massive objects just using sonic frequencies. This technology might be a lot older than we think. Then, the source takes this idea to a whole other level, a planetary level. It argues that Nikola Tesla knew that the Earth itself is constantly vibrating, ringing like a giant bell. And his big plan? To tap into that constant natural vibration, to give the entire world a source of clean, limitless, and totally free energy.
And the list of claims just keeps getting wilder.
The source presents evidence that sound can boil water without any heat. It can put out massive fires, create invisibility cloaks by literally bending light waves, generate hurricanes, and even, get this, spontaneously create DNA in sterile water.
So, what does all this add up to? If sound is really the primary force of creation, then our entire model of reality, of matter, of energy, of consciousness itself, needs a complete overhaul.
And that brings us to a question that really messes with everything you learned in high school science class. Our whole model of the atom is built on these tiny little balls called electrons orbiting a nucleus. But what if that's just wrong?
So the source offers up this radical alternative. The electron isn't a particle at all. It's a stable, vibrating field of energy, a standing wave shaped like a torus, which is just a fancy word for a donut. In this view, matter isn't made of tiny, solid things. It's made of locked-in frequencies of pure resonance.
And to back this up, the source again brings out the big guns, Nikola Tesla. Apparently in a 1928 interview, Tesla said he flat out did not believe in the electron as a particle. He, and others like Ed Leeds-Coleman, the guy who built Coral Castle, saw reality as interacting fields of energy, not little bits of matter.
Now this is where this huge cosmic theory gets brought all the way down to something we use every single day. Language. The source claims that the letters of ancient alphabets aren't just random shapes. They're actually 2D pictures of the 3D energy fields that are created when you make that sound with your voice.
And that leads us to the final, mind-bending question from the source. If our letters are the shapes of sounds, and sound creates reality, then what are we really doing when we do spelling? Are we just putting letters in order, or are we doing what the ancient myths always talked about? Are we learning how to cast spells? Using the creative power of frequency to shape our world? Something to think about.